Hi, and welcome to Mr. Wilson Teaches Prismacolor Blending. Today we're going to walk through a couple different projects on how to use Prismacolors the right way. Prismacolors can be bought pretty much at any art store. You can buy them online. They're a really nice quality, easy to blend colored pencil. So I'll be using them. The project that I'm going to show you is a sphere, which I'll show the initial blending, and then I'm going to be creating a rainbow lorikeet as well, taken from an image online, done on black paper, which will be a time-lapse version. And I'll probably just show you a little part of it so you get the idea and then the final product. So, hope you enjoy. Please like the channel and subscribe. So, I'm going to be showing you some basic blending techniques using the Prismacolor pencils. So Prismacolor is a really nice brand of colored pencils. They range somewhere from like $1 to $1.19 if you're buying by the stick, or you can get them in sets. So I have just a basic set of 36 here, but they sell them in different quantities. So the colors I'm going to be using today is a white, a black, and also two variations of a similar color. So I've got apple green and dark green, but you can use any colors you want at home, and it'll blend. Remember, the further away the colors are, so for example purple and yellow, you're going to end up having a harsher blend and it'll be a little trickier to make them merge together. So starting with something simple like two variations of a color are a little easier. So I'm going to be making a sphere. That's one of the harder things to draw and make look 3D, so I'll show you step by step how to do that. So I have a compass. You can just take really anything you have at home and trace it if it's got a circle shape. I'm sketching it in pencil. And then I'm going to take a ruler, you can use any straight edge, and just cut it across so it looks like it's sitting down. And that might be hard to see, but as we color you'll be able to see the shape a little better. So I'm going to start, for blending you always want to go light to dark. Once you get more familiar with the medium you can find your own style and figure out what works best for you. But for a beginner and when you're just learning how to blend, going light to dark is easier because you can always go darker. It is harder to go lighter. And these will erase out a little bit too. They will leave some color behind, so you got to be careful about how hard you're pushing and what you're erasing. But in general, it's a colored pencil, so it will erase. So I'm going to start by filling in the sphere using the lighter color. So this is the apple green. And I'm hugging to the edge pretty close to start, and then I'll quickly just color the rest in. And I'm just using regular drawing paper. You can use any surface. Something with a grit usually picks up a little more. So usually the more expensive the paper, or higher quality, it's going to come out a little better because it can hold more layers versus a sheet of computer paper or a loose leaf. So I'm just adding a layer on. So for a lot of people, this is where they end. So coloring something in, that's the finished product. We're going to be pushing this a couple layers deep to get at least to like a 9th or 10th grade level. Alright, so there's our first layer. So in this sphere we're going to pretend that the light source is coming from this side, which would then cast the shadow over here. So our highlight is going to be somewhere in here, shadow is going to be on this side. So I'm going to switch to my darker color and make a dark outline on the outer shadow edge. So this is where the shadow would fall because of the light source. And then I'm going to pull some of that darker color and just slowly fade away. I'm releasing pressure as I go from the edge in. And some of this does take a lot of hand pressure. If you're not strong enough, you can take breaks. I have to really layer after layer to try and get this look good. You can also use blending stumps on these or tortillons. You can use a rag to blend it, but a lot of the blending that I'll be showing on this is just using the pencils themselves to blend each other. I'm going to curve this a little bit around this side as well, so it'll look more like a sphere if you can get some of the color creeping up the edges here. Alright, so the general shape is going to look similar to a waxing or waning moon, so you can see that moon shape there. And again, a lot of people would stop here and they would say, done with the coloring shading, but we're going to push it again and layer it. So next I'm going to be taking the darker green. I'm going to push down really hard and go into the darker green. So look at what a difference that made in the way that it looks versus the white being shown through the paper. I'm going through and I'm getting rid of all the white paper by blending using the colors right on top of each other. So you will end up losing a little bit of that dark color, which is fine because we're going to add another layer in anyways. But that's something to know, is as you get more familiar with these, you'll know which colors sort of take over each other, which ones are more opaque, what it will look like when you combine them. And I'm going to leave an area up here. Remember, that's where you want our highlight to be. I'm going to leave a small portion of this upper right area open for some white to go in. Alright, so I'm going to go back in with my dark green, pull out some of those colors again. And the more layers you get on this, it can be harder to add the color on, but it does make it a lot easier to blend. So if you have a good idea of what you want the colors to be to begin with, it's a little easier to manage. You can pull some of them back out. And a lot of this is just about getting the right hand pressure. A lot of times I'll go back and forth, and when I see an area that I need darker or lighter, just switch right back and forth. I'm also going to take the dark green and just do the edge so it looks like it goes back in space. Sort of crisp it up a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to add in the white. And blend the edges using the green. That's going to give us our highlight. I'm also going to take some black and throw it in the opposite side, just in this corner here. And the shadow that would be created by a light source like this would look something along these lines. Size would change depending on where exactly the shadow is. And right under the ball where it's going to be the darkest area. I'm just going to blend this out. And then normally, depending on whatever color the table is, I'd color the table in and then leave some of that color showing through this shadow. Because we're leaving this a white table, it's going to have a little white showing through. So that'll help make it look like it's sitting there. I can also throw a little color behind the table. Let's add black, and I'm just going to fade it out with the white. Make it a little darker. That's going to look like the sphere sitting down. So that's really all there is to it in terms of layering. This is a smooth blend. If you want to add texture, a lot of these are strong enough that you can add texture right onto it. So if I want to add something like some lines, so if I want to add, let's say, fur or hair to this, I can pull out those colors right on top of it. Even white will show up on a lot of this, so if I want to add different tones or values, the more layers you get, it is harder to see, but you can start to pull some of those out. So that's something to toy with too. The next parts of the video, I'm going to be working on drawing a rainbow lorikeet. I've done a lot of the project already, so I'm just going to show you a portion of the wing using these layering techniques in a similar color scheme. So the original picture is here. So I've already done a bit of this and some of the top green area. So I'm going to show you this portion here with the green. You know, it can get pretty boring working on the same thing over and over, so I may jump around to some other colors as the video progresses. But I'll put in a time lapse and you can watch the layering sort of take form onto the wing and get an idea how it looks in the actual project. But this is a good start for you. So you're going to give this a try, and then when you're ready for it, you can move on to colored paper and try something with a little more texture and color to it. So good luck and enjoy.
Yeah.